Welcome back to the Narcissism Freedom channel. Whether you're a returning soul seeking continued healing, or you're new and searching for answers, this space is for you. This channel exists to be a sanctuary for those walking through the pain, confusion, and aftermath of narcissistic abuse. Here, you're not alone. You're seen, you are heard, and most importantly, you are being guided, perhaps even divinely, into a new season of restoration. Today's message is titled, The Enemy's Grip versus God's Hand. And if you've ever felt like you were trapped in a cycle of torment, like something or someone had a grip on your soul that wouldn't let go, this message is for you. Many survivors of narcissistic abuse describe the experience as if they were caught in something far deeper than a toxic relationship. It felt spiritual. It felt as if darkness had entered their lives in a personal and calculated way. That's because it often has. The enemy works subtly at first, through charm, flattery, and false love, but over time, the mask slips. What once looked like a promise becomes a prison. This is the enemy's grip. It doesn't always look like suffering at first. In fact, it can come disguised as everything you thought you ever wanted: love, validation, attention, or even spiritual connection. But behind the illusion is control. And behind control is a deep desire to extinguish your light, confuse your purpose, and dismantle your sense of worth. That's why narcissistic abuse isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. The enemy seeks to isolate you from your divine identity. He wants you to forget who you are and whose you are. He wants to convince you that you're unworthy, unlovable, and powerless. But that is a lie from the pit. Because even while the enemy tries to tighten his grip, God's hand is never far. In fact, the more pressure you feel, the closer his presence truly is. Psalm 34 verse 18 tells us that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. If that's you right now, if your spirit feels crushed and your heart shattered, please know that you are being held. There is a deeper story unfolding, and it's one of redemption. The enemy's grip may be strong, but it is not final. The power of God's hand is unmatched, and his hand doesn't control to dominate. It protects to guide. It uplifts. It restores. It delivers. God never forces you, but he gently leads you into freedom. And the very places the enemy tried to destroy you are the places God will use to bless and elevate you. When you were stuck in trauma loops, blaming yourself, walking on eggshells, doubting your worth, that was the enemy's grip. But the moment you began to see clearly, to feel the nudge that something was wrong, to desire peace over performance, that was God's hand beginning to pull you out. It might have felt messy. It might have come through pain, betrayal, or the crumbling of everything you once relied on. But sometimes, the breakdown is the beginning of the breakthrough. God allows what he could stop because he sees what we cannot. He sees that freedom isn't always found in the smooth road, but in the valley where we finally call out to him. In Isaiah 41 verse 13, God says, "For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, 'Do not fear, I will help you.'" He takes your hand, not with force, but with love. And in that moment, everything begins to shift. You may not see it right away. Healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel like you're back in the enemy's grip, haunted by old wounds or paralyzed by doubt. But that's when you hold tighter to God's hand. His grip never falters, even when yours does. The enemy will try to whisper that you're still broken, still unworthy, still defined by your past. But remember this: the enemy lies. God speaks truth. The enemy condemns. God redeems. The enemy reminds you of your failures. God reminds you of your identity. And that identity was never rooted in what the narcissist said about you. It was never based on what they took from you. It was always based on what God placed inside of you before you were ever hurt. That truth is eternal, and it cannot be undone. No trauma can erase your destiny. No manipulation can block your calling. And no grip of the enemy can outlast the hand of God. The pain you've experienced may have felt like a trap, but it was also a turning point, a divine interruption, a holy detour that brought you face to face with your need for something greater. And you found that in God. You found that through the quiet moments, the whispered prayers, the tears you cried alone, and the strength you didn't know you had. God was there. And He still is. Maybe you're not all the way free yet. Maybe you still feel the residue of the past, the pull of the familiar pain. But take heart. The process is sacred. Every step you take away from the enemy's grip and toward God's hand is a victory. Even if it's slow, even if it's invisible to others, it matters. And it counts. Some people won't understand the spiritual nature of what you've endured. They'll tell you to move on, to stop being so sensitive, to forgive and forget. But healing from narcissistic abuse is not just a mental process. It's a spiritual awakening. You weren't just hurt. You were attacked at the level of your spirit. And now you're not just healing, you're rising. You are stepping into a new identity, one that was hidden beneath the lies and fear for too long. And God is restoring what the enemy tried to steal. Joel 2 verse 25 says, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." The lost time, the stolen joy, the damaged self-worth, He's restoring it all. But it begins with trust. Trusting His hand, even when you can't see where He's leading. Trusting that His ways are higher. Trusting that He will use everything, even the worst chapters of your story, for your good and His glory. The enemy's grip might have left scars, but God's hand is writing a new story. One of freedom, power, healing, and purpose. You are not stuck. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt stronger, wiser, and more aligned than ever before. Don't let the enemy convince you otherwise. Don't let fear drag you back into what God has called you out of. You've come too far to give up now. Keep reaching for His hand. Keep choosing peace over chaos. Keep choosing truth over manipulation. Keep choosing light over darkness. Your healing journey is holy, and your restoration is already underway. If this message resonated with your spirit, please know you're not alone. Others are walking this same path with you, each reclaiming their light one step at a time. And if you feel led to support the growth and awareness of this channel, the details are below in the description. Your support helps more souls find the freedom they desperately need. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can find these messages of hope. Until next time, keep your heart open, your spirit strong, and your hand in God's.